Manthan 30 Days International Summer School Training Program. It is India's largest training program jointly organized by Just Agriculture, Utkarsh PDKV Akola, Incubation Center and Sri Konda Lakshman, Telangana Horticulture University, Hyderabad. We will cover 25 plus modules related to agriculture and agripreneurship. The stakeholders, participants of this program are students, scientists, working professional farmers and industry persons. In this program, we will discuss in detail of each topics, drone technology and agribots, hydroponics and polyhouse technology, rooftop farming and microgreens, saffron farming, pearl culture technology, biofloc fish farming technology, poultry and piggery training, dry flower technology, mushroom production, IoT and artificial intelligence, SaaS and blockchain technology. So now we welcome esteemed guest Vijay Milind Sawant. So I would like to share some of his achievements in insights. He has experience and horticulturist with a background in suitable agriculture, urban landscape design and project planning. Currently he is working as a business development and marketing specialist at City Greens and he is CEO of Earth and Agritech, founded CV Agrotech and work as an environmentalist at Wild Mountains. His achievements, participation in track events and football at university level, various examinations of language and maths, participation in state level drawing grade exam, member of Indian Scouts and Guides. So it's an honor for us, sir. You are here and I welcome you, sir.
Hi, thank you, Shika, for that amazing warm welcome, and thank you for introducing me to all of our guests today.
Welcome, sir.
Right. So basically, I'll just share my screen. I have a presentation right here. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to share it.
Okay, okay.
Great. Are you able to view my screen?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. All right. So basically today what I'll be talking about is hydroponics and how hydroponics is becoming a major industry in the world as well as in India. All right. So guys, I've been working in the hydroponic industry for the past 6 7 years now, and in my experience what I've realized is that hydroponics definitely is the way farming will proceed in future. The conventional farming methods right now, as we go through these slides, we'll understand what are the challenges that your conventional farmers, your traditional farmers are facing in this era, and how hydroponics will be the next solution to the entire farming landscape. Okay. So basically, hydroponics is nothing but a revolutionary method which was started back in 1930s, right? This was basically invented or has its what do you call it? Invention as such happened back during the ancient times, where we talk about the water gardens in Babylon. That's like ancient period agriculture. However, with time we've lost touch, and we've come back to the conventional methods of farming using fertilizers and pesticides and all the chemicals that are basically one of the major reasons for the climate change that's happening in the world at the moment. All right. Soil pollution is one of the soil pollution is one of the major problems that India is facing at the moment, definitely because of traditional farming methods again. All right. So hydroponics is something which is helping us understand how we can revolutionize this entire agricultural industry, and how innovative thinking can help you to change the way we look at agriculture, right? So basically, what is hydroponics? Hydroponics is nothing but a very modern technique in which we grow plants without the use of soil. Hydroponics falls under the uh, major subject of what we would like to call it as soilless agriculture. Soilless agriculture is again divided into various parts, out of which one of them is hydroponics. Definitely, there are other such techniques as well, such as aquaponics or aeroponics and substrate based farming, things like that. So today what we are talking about is hydroponics, wherein instead of soil, we replace soil with a nutrient rich water solution, which basically provides all the minerals and nutrients necessary for the optimum plant growth. Okay. So as I was talking about the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, right? So that is where hydroponics took root, or that is when hydroponics was started off. All right, and this is way back, way ancient that I'm talking to you about. Maybe somewhere in the 200, 300 century, something of that sort. All right. However, it recently in 1930s, like about I think in the next 5 6 years, we will have like one particular entire century that has been working on hydroponics, or maybe the first century that has completed, under the development of hydroponic techniques, right? So Dr. William Grecki was from University of California, and he introduced this technique of growing plants in mineral rich water. All right, that is how the today's hydroponic methods are, or the techniques are being developed based on the foundation that Dr. Gerick had laid for us. Correct. So comparing it with traditional soil-based farming, so there are three things that come to the mind. The first is optimal use of nutrients. All right. So when I say optimal use of nutrients, what I basically mean is uh, plants require certain amount of elements in certain volumes. All right. So one plant may require higher amount of nitrogen, while the other might require higher amount of phosphorus or potassium. In this particular soilless based farming, or your hydroponic farming, what we do is we can give the exact amount of these elements in the correct volumes to prosper or help the plant uh, grow to its fullest. Correct. So that is one of the major reasons why we find that the hydroponic produce is much better in nutritive content and quality as compared to your soil based produce. Second is the water usage. Everybody is aware about how difficult it is to find water these days, in terms of when you digging a bore well. So basically the water table has been going down since a very long time, and in the past couple of decades, it has become quite difficult in certain places to find water at maybe 400 feet or 300 feet or 550 feet as well, where water was available just a couple of decades back at maybe 80 feet or maybe 100 feet. Correct. Hydroponic, what it does is it ensures that we use very less amount of water. When irrigation is applied to plants which are grown in soil, what happens is a lot of water is seeped down. So not entirety of the water that we supply or provide is absorbed by these plants. That is where hydroponics comes into picture, wherein we can recirculate the water which is in excess, which basically recycling the water again and again, unless and until there is some kind of contamination in it. All right. The third thing that I would like to talk about is the space efficiency. We definitely seen a lot of people coming up in the urban setups, in the urban scapes, who are looking to have their produce grown by themselves. Particularly after COVID, we're able to see the shift in people who would want to consume, or have a food secure place of their own. And that is exactly where I think hydroponics plays a vital role. Hydroponic systems, can be designed vertically, or there are certain A-frame structures that can be used to grow a lot of hydroponic produce. So basically, optimal use of space is also something that is guaranteed in hydroponics. With soil-based farming, isn't possible. So when we talk about the benefits of hydroponics, yes, the growth rate of plants that we see in hydroponics is more, the yields is higher, and the pest and disease infestation is lower. So when I talk about the growth rate of plants, it is mainly because we are able to supply that correct amount of nutrition at the correct growth phase of that particular plant during its life cycle. So, certain plants require, let's say, 600 EC or maybe 800 EC in the beginning phase. However, they take up to 1.2, 1.5, maybe 1.7 or 2 as well in certain cases. So in hydroponics, we are able to control the amount of nutrient which is being given to the plant, which helps the plant to grow much faster. Okay. As we are providing these nutrients or minerals that we call in the correct proportion, the total yield also increases. And this is mainly because of the control over the kind of nutrition that we provide to the plants. All right. When I talk about reduced pest and disease risk, right? So this is mainly because we are completely eliminating soil out of the equation. So when we eliminate soil out of the equation, definitely the pest and disease like your nematodes or certain bacteria or fungal growths that you may see during the monsoons, because mainly because of those pores are present in the soil. Hydroponics, we don't use soil at all. So that is exactly why the infestation of pest is reduced as compared to your conventional method of farming, right? So basically, hydroponics, what it does is it not only helps you to improve the quality, the yield, but it also reduces the wastage due to pests and diseases. Okay. Now coming to the types of hydroponic systems that are available at the moment. So there is a certain wick system, a deep water culture system, a NFT system, a ebb and flow system. Then there is aeroponics as well. Okay. So basically what happens in this wick system is kind of very similar to what the principle of a lamp is, right? So you'll see a cotton like thread being used for to light a lamp, the diyas that we have in during Diwali. Basically, the wick system is very similar to that. Instead of the oil in the lamp, there is nutrient-rich water, and there is a wick or a thread-like structure which helps to absorb the nutrient water from the base to the plant. So that is how the wick system basically works. Then there is deep water culture wherein you create tubs, and there is a styrofoam on styrofoam plate on the top of this particular tub. All right, so this tub is completely filled with nutrient rich water. We have styrofoam on the top of this particular nutrient rich water which is floating on this nutrient rich water. The styrofoam has those holes in which you keep your net pots, and your plants grow in these net pots. So all the time these roots are submerged into this nutrient rich water. Now what happens in deep water culture is there is usually a lot of algae that is being created, or there is a high chance of anaerobic bacteria damaging the plant, something like E. coli. So to prevent this particular problem, or uh, to address this issue, what deep water culture farmers do is they add an aeration pump into the entire tub. So the what this aeration pump is doing is basically it is generating air bubbles in the water, so that there is no stagnation of water, due to which there may be anaerobic growth of bacteria. Okay. Now coming to the next one is the nutrient film technique, or the NFT system. Now this is a pretty common technique, and a lot of people do associate hydroponics to NFT. However, hydroponics is not just NFT, but a lot of these systems that I just spoke to you about, right? When I talk about NFTs, those are your basic channels. They are made up of UPVC. I have seen certain channels which are also made up of bamboo, right? However, what happens in this NFT channels is there is a small film of nutrient water which is continuously flowing through those channels. On the top of these channels, you will find net cups or net pots in which the plant is growing. The roots of these particular plant or the produce that we are growing are always in contact with this small film of nutrient that is flowing in the channel. That is how basically this particular produce receives its nutrition. Okay. When I talk about ebb and flow or flood and drain method, it is basically a tub which is filled up with hydrotons or your fly ash pebbles. Now it could be leca pebbles, fly ash pebbles, or anything of that sort. In this entire setup, there is a pump that basically floods the entire bed, and then it drains it out. So there are intervals at which the entire bed is flooded and it is drained out over and over. So this definitely helps to reduce water usage and helps to recirculate the entire water at its maximum optimal usage. Talking about aeroponics is basically applying mist through towers or chambers or buckets. So there are aeroponic towers, there are aeroponic chambers, there are aeroponic buckets. Now all of these basically run on the same technique or the same principle, wherein there is a fine mist of this nutrient solution that we are talking about. This fine mist is applied directly to the roots of this particular uh, entire setup. So through this mist, what happens is these roots absorb all the nutrient at its optimal value. Aeroponics is kind of still in its developing stage. We haven't really seen commercial farms being set up in terms of aeroponics. However, NFTs, DWCs are more of a commercial choice. All right. Coming to automation and technology in hydroponics. Now, me working with city greens, what I know of or what I'm aware about is automation plays a major role when it comes to human error or negligence in because of some farm labor or an agronomist for that matter. Automation, what it does is ensures that there is no human error at all. Secondly, it ensures that there is optimal climate created at all times. All right. And it definitely helps you to reduce the labor cost, increase the yields and productivity of the entire setup. With city greens, what I have seen or what I have realized is that we have at least seen maybe 30 to 35% reduction in power cost because of automation, and about 15 to 20% of increase in yield because of automation. Now we've got a research and training facility in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. That is where we conduct all these researches in order to understand how we can develop more robust technology, which will be at a cheaper price point as well. Okay, because it has to be cost efficient, and every other farmer should have access to such technology. Our technology kind of is as good as what you may find in Netherlands or Israel or Singapore for that matter, and it's at 30% price cost. So we are mainly a tech-driven company, and what we realize is automation definitely helps. When you start or when you look at the scalability of projects, maybe so 10-acre, 20-acre, 40-acre, 50-acre projects, automation is kind of a must for these kind of projects. All right. So when I'm talking about automation, there are various kind of solutions that one can find in the industry right now. The majorly what everybody should look at when it comes to automation is the automated nutrient delivery system. Now there are various such nutrient delivery systems available in the market. The first one would be something which helps in precision feeding, as in it ensures that the ECPH of the entire solution is the correct amount, and it is being fertigated to the entire farm setup. Okay. This ensures that each plant gets exact amount of nutrients that they really need, and minimizing the wastage of nutrients that one might find in conventional methods. So basically, when you're farming, in soil, you apply fertilizers blindly, right? So there's just broadcasting of fertilizers that happens on soil. However, here in hydroponics, the entire nutrient delivery is quite optimal, is quite precise. Then the other kind of nutrient delivery systems that you see are the self-mixing solutions. So basically, one part is supplying the nutrient in the correct amount to your farm. The second part is having those nutrients being created automatically. So what this does is it definitely helps you to reduce labor cost. However, it also ensures that there is precise EC and pH values of this particular nutrient solution that is being created at the same time. Okay. There's also IoT and AI integration, which helps in the entire automation of nutrient delivery system, as in the IoT will understand that this particular plant has reached a certain growth stage and it requires more nutrients, due to which it will have to increase the EC of this particular nutrient solution, or there is an alternative wherein there is a particular nutrient which is required more, so the pH of that particular nutrient, pH of the entire solution for that nutrient to be absorbed more is kind of calculated and then analyzed, and and then set up. So AI does definitely help in the entire analysis bit and decision making thing when it comes to automation and nutrient delivery systems. Okay. Now coming to the next part is the practical applications of hydroponics. There are numerous practical applications of hydroponics that one can see. I'm sorry. About the automation and technology, definitely there are a few more bits of the automation that I would like to cover. If one of them would be a climate management module, one of them would be a power management module, right? So these are the certain kind of modules that one finds in the industry at the moment, out of which the nutrient delivery system is the most important. However, you can always have a climate management module wherein the entire the automation setup ensures that there is conducive climate in the poly house or the shade net house, or the climate control poly house that or the greenhouse that you have set up. Basically, what happens in these climate management modules is there are a couple of sensors which basically understand the humidity, the temperature, the vapor pressure deficit, things like that, and it sends all this data to one of the IoT hubs, right? And then the IoT hub analyzes this data and then takes decisions accordingly. So let's say I require 25 to 30 degrees Celsius in my farms at all times. So I will just enter that values, and the rest of it will be taken care by my climate management system. Okay. Very similarly, when I'm talking about the power management module, so there are certain components or appliances that can help you automate all the switches that are present in the farm, and to have all these switches in one particular place, like an electric control panel kind of a setup. All right. So basically what this electric control panel and this entire automation of these panel does is it ensures that whatever data that is being sent across by the IoT after analyzing and create having a reaction to it, this particular action is kind of taken care by this particular automation unit or the electric control panel. So let's say the IoT hub understands that the temperatures have risen about 30 to 30 degrees Celsius. It will ensure that it sends a message to the electric control panel through the automation unit that the temperatures have risen about 30 degrees and we need to start off the fan and pad system, if that's the case, or maybe a fogging system or something of ventilation fans, something like that. And once all of this data is being sent to this automation unit, what the automation unit does is it switches on the fogging system or the fan pad cooling system, and it will keep it on until it has reached the 25-degree threshold that we set earlier. So this basically helps us to reduce the entire cost that goes towards electricity by optimizing when the switches have to be switched on and off. Basically how one's air conditioner works when the compressor is cut off after the room temperature reaches a certain threshold. That's the exact principle that is being used in the industry at the moment. Now coming to the practical applications of hydroponics, all right. Hydroponics is definitely widely adopted throughout the world right now. There is a lot of education and awareness that is being brought up by a lot of players in the market, due to which people are understanding what or how hydroponics is, or what kind of techniques, or what are the applications of this technique, right? So talking about urban agriculture, there are two kinds of sectors that I would like to call them in the urban landscape. One of them is a vertical setup, the other is a rooftop garden. Now vertical setups are usually commercial based setups wherein people are looking to grow leafy greens or microgreens, things like that. Now in this vertical setup, definitely you can have it indoor, you can have it outdoor, depending upon what sort of area that you have. All right. So it's basically what you can see in a lot of developed countries, especially in places like Singapore and Dubai, wherein the space is very restricted. That is where exactly this entire vertical farming setup really turns out to be a boom. Uh, when I'm talking about vertical farming, my scope of growing a lot of things is very limited, because it is very difficult to have vine crops such as cucumbers or tomatoes, something like that, growing in a vertical setup. So mainly we focus on leafy greens such as spinach, or maybe red amaranthus or green amaranthus, coriander, basil, your exotic lettuces, arugula, bok choy, all those kinds of things. When I'm talking about rooftop gardens, these are the setups that people have for their personal consumption. So coming back to the point, after COVID, a lot of people have become quite, you know, uh, aware about food security and all the problems that came along with COVID. Definitely, food was one of them. A lot of people weren't able to have access to fresh produce. That is why these rooftop gardens is something that you can see in increasing numbers in tier 1 and tier 2 cities of the country right now. So a lot of people, what they have is they live in apartment complexes, so they create these community gardens wherein the entire community is also engaged in the entire activity, as well as they have a fresh produce. So basically, a food secure apartment complex is what I'm talking about here. All right. Then talking about another application, or what something which is really prominent in this entire sector or in this industry, is commercial farming in controlled environment agriculture. Now there are various kinds of polyhouses, such as your climate control polyhouse, naturally ventilated polyhouse, greenhouse structure, net house structure, right? Even in this climate control or naturally ventilated, there are tunnel type, or your butterfly wings, or such different kinds of polyhouses. What this basically polyhouse structure does is it ensures or helps you to have that conducive kind of environment for the entire growing area or the growing period, which helps you to have off season produce. Hydroponics has taken off really well when it is combined with this controlled environment agriculture. We have seen amazing results, people breaking even in maybe 3.5 4 years at the max, and really great results that we've seen in polyhouse farming in the very recent years. Now talking about specialized crop production. Definitely, there are certain horticultural crops which are of high value, such as your exotics that I was talking to you about, especially your lettuces, or your English cucumbers, colored capsicums, jalapenos, your bird eye chilies, strawberries, your blueberries. These are your high value crops. And what hydroponics does is improves the yield and the quality of these high value crops, which helps you to gain much more better margins. That is where hydroponics really plays a vital role. Now when you talk about fruit products like blueberries and strawberries, taste is one of the major function or a driver for sales. So these high value crops definitely grow amazingly well in a hydroponic setup. Coming to the next point is the experimental crops. Now I was mentioning about the research and training facility that we have in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. We've been trying to conduct researches on growing brinjals or aubergines or your bottle gourds, and things like your okra, which is a daily consumption in the Indian food palette, right? So we're trying to have a economic feasibility, or trying to understand the market feasibility of such products, and that is where hydroponics definitely comes into the picture. That's just one part of research. There is definitely a lot of research that happens through pharmaceutical companies who are based, who are dependent on certain crops for those particular, what do you call them, for those particular proteins that they require to create those uh, medicines or your pharmaceutical drugs. Yeah, Ritin, I do see you've raised your hand. Could we just bench on those questions? I will have the last 10-15 minutes for all doubts and questions, if that is okay. I have just lowered your hand because it's kind of bothering me. I'm sorry for that. Right. Coming to the next part, the challenges and limitations in hydroponics. The major challenge is the initial cost, as this is a very capital intensive kind of structure. Uh, Setting up a hydroponic farm along with a polyhouse for 1 acre might go somewhere from 80 lakh rupees to about 90 lakh rupees for just 1 acre. All right. So this is kind of very expensive for any marginal or traditional farmer, to be very honest. Definitely, there are subsidies that are being provided by the government, and government is definitely taking steps, in order to help or prosper this entire industry. However, I feel if a lot more private players could come in, who or a public private entity, if that could be formed, I think that would be the best kind of solution for this initial cost that a lot of people face during setting up their hydroponic farms or venturing into hydroponics. Coming to the technical expertise, yes, this is definitely a science that you need to learn. So is agriculture. So if you are very much well versed with agriculture, definitely you will have some kind of expertise in growing crops. You just have to adjust to the technology that is coming into the picture right now. If you know how to grow crops, definitely you'll be able to grow them in hydroponics. There will be certain criteria, certain points that you have to keep in mind, but that's just about it. Definitely, this technical expertise doesn't just limit to your skilled labor or to the skilled people, but also it extends to the unskilled labor. So a lot of problems or a lot of issues that are faced in a hydroponic farm is also because of unskilled labor not being trained properly on how to use those tools and equipments that are provided. So talking about the recent developments and in the hydroponic industry in India, all right. So definitely as I was talking about, subsidies and incentives that are being provided by government. So one that I'm really aware about is the National Horticultural Board that gives about 50% of subsidy. However, this subsidy is capped at again 56 lakh rupees, and there are certain conditions as to which crops can be grown or what kind of growing system is required to claim such subsidies. So yes, hydroponic is kind of a new sector to India, and there are not of the protocols set in terms of subsidies and incentives. But I can see that development happening in the next 4 or 5 years at the max. So in the past 3-5 years, I have seen that development, and I can see in the next 4 or 5 years, I think we'll have a proper subsidy model or an incentive model for hydroponic farm setup or farm growers, right? Talking about research and development grants, definitely yes, because City Greens itself has gotten so many grants from the government of India, from the government of Karnataka. We've been approached by a lot of global players as well, such as the government in the UK and US, who have invited us, to set up things and to conduct research in hydroponic sector in their country. So definitely it is something which is still developing, and a lot of focus is being given to the research part of it. Okay. Market expansion. So as basically the consumer is becoming more aware, especially after COVID, which played an amazing role in terms of creating this awareness in people about nutrition and what kind of food should they eat. Definitely, there is increased consumer awareness, due to which there is more acceptability to the hydroponic produce in India than it was maybe 4 or 5 years back. Definitely, you or somebody in your family will know or might be consuming yourself hydroponic produce, or at least know somebody who buys hydroponic produce on a regular basis. So that's where we've reached. 4 or 5 years back, if you would have hardly known anybody who knew hydroponics. So yeah, I have been seeing this development for the 4 or 5 years, and I definitely see that in the next 4 or 5 years, hydroponic will not just remain a niche, but it will turn out to be a pretty huge industry. Yes, retail and e-commerce, of course, have played a major role in the entire growth of this industry. Uh, Retail and e-commerce, mainly Amazon, basically what it does is it helps people in tier 3 cities or tier small villages to have access to materials that is required to set up or do it yourself kind of a kit. So basically that is where the entire what do you call, the interest begins, and that is how you basically turn out or get into the entire hydroponic industry. So definitely there is market expansion that's been happening. Community and social impact is one of the major reasons why I feel hydroponic is become quite widespread in the country right now. NGOs and non-profit organizations have certainly been in a lot of significant role, playing a very significant role in this entire promotion of hydroponic industry. Uh, Last week itself, I was working with a foundation in Belgium who's looking to set up a hydroponic farm facility for tribals in Tamil Nadu. And they wanted us to train those people in Tamil Nadu, the tribal people, for generating more income. So definitely, I would say there is a lot of domestic as well as international exposure and involvement in terms of NGOs and non-profit organizations. Talking about the growth rate of hydroponic globally, it is estimated about 8.5% up until 2030, and the entire market will be somewhere around 30 billion US dollars. Okay. Uh, Regional insights, no, America or USA, to be very precise, is the most leading country in terms of hydroponic produce at the moment. Definitely followed by Europe, and then some parts of Israel, Singapore, and Dubai, or the UAE region, or the Gulf region, basically. Uh, Definitely food security and sustainable agriculture are the major drivers for this expansion in terms of globally speaking. Increase investment, of course, with more awareness and education, people are looking to invest more into hydroponic setups, especially in the VC funding, or the private investors are really getting into into the industry very recently. Yes, so as I was saying, climate change, urban space constraints, these are the major drivers or roles why hydroponic produce is basically being accepted at large at the moment. Health and safety regulations is another reason why it is prospering in certain countries. Hydroponic produce definitely is not labeled as organic produce in India. However, when I'm speaking about not labeled as organic, it is definitely labeled as organic in the US. So basically, there is a board for a particular country that decides what would be termed as organic and what would be termed as inorganic or processed. That is one of the reasons why in India we don't have hydroponic produce being labeled as your organic produce. However, with more growth in the Indian community, definitely we'll be able to achieve that. All right. Uh, Supermarkets and grocery stores such as Big Basket, Nature's Basket, these players are creating that awareness or being the catalyst for consumers to have that accessibility towards hydroponic produce at a good, cheaper, price point as well. Traceability and transparency are another thing wherein there are certain brands that label their produce as in this produce was harvested at this particular time and was harvested from this particular location. When we are exporting produce, you definitely have that particular requirement of you need to help to understand that particular country where this produce was grown, how this produce was grown, what kind of chemicals were they used, all those sort of things. So basically, coming to the conclusion, hydroponics is a very efficient and a very precise way of farming. Definitely, there are certain challenges that hydroponics produce. However, the challenges that your traditional or conventional farming has, those challenges can definitely be mitigated if we adopt to the hydroponic techniques, right? And with technology and automation advancing in the global scale, definitely we will certainly be at a stage where most of the produce will be of amazing quality and will give the most yield that one can have, right? So I think that's about it. If you guys have any doubts or questions, I'll be more than happy to address them now.
So, dear participants, our chat box is open or enabled. Those who are interested, ask any question or have any query, please ask.
So, Shiv, you were able to see that whatever my contact details are shared on the screen, you can use the same one. Okay, 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 cultivated in your. So I see Mr. Ravindra has shared this query wherein he asked about how much fertilizer cost in hydroponic farm. Now the fertilizer cost will depend mainly upon the crop of choice and then again the location as well. So we need to understand a couple of things in order to give you like a approximate costing. All right. Talking about how many cycles, the number of cycles would remain same what you get with your conventional methods. However, the yield is what you increase. All right. In As gherkins and bell peppers have a longer duration, so bell peppers have a 6 month cycle basically. So it might be reduced to maybe 5 or 10 days, which is quite insignificant. However, when I talk about leafy greens, in farm or your in soil, you're able to cultivate leafy greens in 50 to 60 days. However, in hydroponics, you are able to cultivate the same leafy greens in 30 to 45 days. So as the time frame is smaller, you able to see that significant difference in the production cycle. Definitely, it can be grown, in places which are away from the market, as the shelf life is much higher. So, talking about city greens, I think you guys can contact on this number and or maybe email, and our team will get back to you. Ramya Shri asking about how seeds are sown in hydroponics. The seeds are sown in the similar fashion what you see in soil. They are basically sown in a propagation tray or what you call pro trays, and then they are transplanted. Are we using nutritions in chemical form in hydroponics? So yes, we know these particular nutritions or the minerals that we call are processed and not found naturally. However, saying that the use of it is very optimal. There are definitely plant grade minerals which are being manufactured. However, they haven't really reached an economic feasible manner. So we definitely are understanding how to, through our research how we can implement them. But to basically answer your question, yes, they are in chemical form. So Zenat Priya, there isn't any specific training which we have at the moment, any modules. However, will be coming up with a module soon in November, I am assuming. So that is when we are starting up with a hybrid model wherein we'll have saffron training, saffron being cultivated through hydroponics. However, for agriculture graduates, we have started our internship program at our City Greens Agritech Park, which is located in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. It's a 3.25 acre facility and has 10 different kinds of microclimatic zones and various crops being grown at the same time. That is where we conduct our primary research as well. So if you are an agriculture graduate, you can definitely reach out to the given email and we'll be more than happy to, accommodate you at our farm. Which vegetables crops grow mostly grown in hydroponics? So Saksham, I would say a lot of exotic vegetables are grown at the moment. However, you will also see something like spinach or maybe amaranthus, which are local crops being grown as well. So about the training, I think I've answered about the training question. So there is something known as organoponics. However, it isn't really reached a place where you can have it as a commercial setup. Organoponics is still in a very nascent stage, in a very developing stage. Maybe another 10 years, 20 years, 15 years down the line, we'll be reaching that particular place wherein we can integrate organic and hydroponic together. So the disease and pest control measures remain same as in soil, Aniket. You can definitely use biocontrol agents such as Pseudomonas fluorescens, Bacillus subtilis, Bacillus thuringiensis, Azospirillum, Azotobacter, things like that, basically. Mahalakshmi, I'm sorry, I don't understand your question when you ask, sir, what about the price fixation of veggies? Uh, I'm sorry, I don't follow through. For house setups, I would recommend that you can have a DIY kit, NFT, DWC kind of a kit. Also depends on what location are you situated, Sri Saran, and a lot of factors that you need to understand before you start off your agriculture operations. So once you are aware about it, then maybe you can, take a informed decision. So Rajiv, traceability in hydroponics isn't managed at the moment. There aren't major agencies which are responsible. As I was mentioning, hydroponics is still a niche in India, and there are a lot of protocols which are being set up and developed at the moment. Tree species, I would say, yes, there are a lot of tree species which are under research, something like papaya or moringa, things like that. However, it is not commercially viable in the longer run. Sanjeev, there aren't any vertical hydroponic tree crops because vertically it will be kind of impossible to have tree crops unless you have maybe like an A-frame structure. However, I am not so sure if you will be able to grow any tree species as such. Yeah, herbs or veggies, something like that can happen in a vertical setup. So Manoj, there are no soil-borne diseases in hydroponics as we eliminate the soil out of the equation. Ramesh, the water depth will again depend on what kind of you know the growing system are you using. So for a nutrient film technique, it's a very fine film that flows. For deep water culture, again it depends on the kind of crop that you have. It could be 1.5, 2 feet as well. Samyukta, the reason not all vegetables are grown in hydroponics is because of the market demand. The market demand isn't available everywhere for all kinds of vegetables. So there are only certain pockets of profits that you can find depending upon what location you are in. Mahalakshmi, no, there is no chemical contamination, or I think the correct terminology here would be there are no residual elements or residual carcinogenic elements found in this hydroponic produce. So Pushpanjali, I would suggest that the subsidy is mainly for projects of maybe half acre, 1 acre, or quarter acre probably. Also, the subsidy that I was talking to you about, which is provided by the National Horticultural Board, you can claim it only once in your lifetime, and the cap is at 56 lakhs. So I would recommend, unless and until you have a project cost of somewhere around 2.5, 3 crores, I wouldn't advise you to go for that subsidy. So yeah, Srisharan, as you belong to Telangana, I think you have got hot and dry kind of a climate. If you have a humid climate, then I would suggest going with some vine crops such as English cucumbers or something of that sort. However, if you have a drier climate, you can try maybe some lettuces during the winters and English cucumbers again in the summers, or probably some leafy greens such as uh, your spinach or amaranthus. Uma, I am not so sure how I will be able to share this PPT across. You can definitely contact us and maybe one of my team members will help you with it. Yes, Manoj, we can definitely grow vining crops in hydroponics. A lot of these B2B setups that we do are for vining crops because they get you the most margin. Okay, so Sanjeev, I would say a horizontal setup is much better unless and until you have solar integrated into your farm. So what happens in vertical is you require artificial lighting or grow lighting, which increases your overheads about electricity. So if you have solar integration, then definitely I would suggest vertical. Or it also again depends on the choice of crop, right? So some crops can be grown vertically, some can be grown horizontally. For the crops that can be grown vertically, if you have solar integration, go for it. If not, then I would suggest setting up a horizontal setup. So Mahalakshmi, root rot definitely does happen if there is E. coli or certain pathogens in the water. If your water quality is good, root rot doesn't really happen. You also need to ensure that the root is being properly aerated for this problem to not arise in the first place. Charanjot, yes, vanilla can be grown. I'm not so sure about the economics if it is feasible. Thank you so much, Manoj. Which flower crops? Aniket, definitely a lot of flower crops can be cultivated in hydroponics again. It again mainly is about economic feasibility. So there are certain people I know who are growing roses and gerberas hydroponically. There are also certain people who are growing calendula and gladiolas. But I'm not so sure if they are economically feasible. Maybe they have an export market or something of that sort. Right. I think that's the end of all the questions. Um, right. Handing it over to you, Shikha. Thank you so much.
On behalf of everyone here, I want to say big thank you, sir. Your contribution made this session extraordinarily meaningful and memorable.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Shikha.
Most welcome, sir.
Yeah, it was lovely being here and being able to present this to everybody here. Okay. Okay. I think I'll leave the meeting now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So, guys, our next host will join and continue next guest lecture. So, over to Madhvi.
Yeah. So, good evening, participants. Our guest will join in a short while, then we'll start. So I would like to welcome our esteemed guest, Vivek Mishra sir. So I would like to share some of his achievements and insights with you. So he has done B Pharma and MPA, and he's the present founder, director, and CEO of Fibro Heal Wounder Care Private Limited, and a techno commercial management professional, worked in various industries and capacities in medical devices, pharmaceuticals, food and nutrition, and agri and seed business. He started his current venture in the year of 2017, which is based on the silk protein dried wound management solutions called Fibroheal Wound Care Private Limited. Fibroheal is working to address various types and the stages of wounds and become a comprehensive wound management company from India, addressing various types of acute, chronic, traumatic, and post-operative wounds through their IP protected technology, and they have more than half a dozen patents to his names. Fibroheal is the first company from the India to have commercialized silk proteins to heal different types of wounds. Sir has also served as panelist on the various committee, including BRAC, IIT Guwahati, and various other bionest and life sciences incubator, and help groundbreaking ideas take shape and come to the market. So, and if we speak about his achievements and awards, he is also awarded as winner of Elevate 100, one of the most innovative biotech startups organized by Department of IT, BT, and ST Government of Karnataka, and winner of Startup of the Year under the Smart Bio Award 2020 during Bangalore Summit 2020. He is also the winner of National Technology Award 2020 for startup organized by Technology Development Board, body under DST. And he's also the winner of Best IP Managed MedTech Startup during Biopharma World IE 2021 Bio Startup Awards. And he's also the finalist of National Startup Awards 2020. So I would like to welcome you, sir, here. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Madhvi, and good evening, everyone. Lovely meeting each one of you. I could say there are around 251 participants,
Yes,
and
sir.
I will be discussing. I would like to keep the session more interactive in terms of, I will share some of the things what we have done in FibroHeal, how it affects in terms of, how agree marrying it to various technologies can lead to various newer avenues. I will be indicating on that. And I will also be sharing what has been my learnings while building a company. In terms of the 251 people who are there, many are future entrepreneurs, many are future risk takers, game changers, and people who are going to save the economy and the country. So I would like to interact with them. The session, what is between 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, I expect to finish my presentation in about next 20-25 minutes. And I would keep
Yes,
half an hour, close to 30 minutes, मैं discussion के लिए रखूंगा. और अगर किसी को लैंग्वेज का प्रॉब्लम हो, आप मुझसे हिंदी में, इंग्लिश में, आई एम कंफर्टेबल विद बोथ ऑफ देम, तो आप फ्रीली बात कर सकते हैं. ओके, ऑलराइट, सो आई विल स्टार्ट शेयरिंग माय स्क्रीन. Is my screen visible?
yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Coming to FibroHeal, already Madhavi has revealed what we do. This is the email ID which is mentioned if any of you want to reach out to us. We are the first company operating in and around silk proteins to heal various types of acute, chronic, traumatic, and post-operative wounds. और जो आइडिया था इसके पीछे कि जो सिल्क है या सिल्क प्रोटीन है जिसे हमारे किसान भाई उगाते हैं, उसमें बहुत अच्छा इकोनॉमिक मल्टीप्लायर पोटेंशियल, देयर इज एन इकोनॉमिक मल्टीप्लायर पोटेंशियल अक्रॉस द एंटायर वैल्यू चेन. जो हमारे सिल्क ग्रोइंग फार्मर्स हैं या जो पेशेंट्स हैं या जो हॉस्पिटल्स हैं, इट ब्रिंग्स डाउन द होल इकोसिस्टम इन वन प्लेस. और पैरेलली ये जो फार्मर्स होते हैं उनका अर्निंग्स इंक्रीज करते हैं, पेशेंट्स का ट्रीटमेंट टाइम कम होता है और हॉस्पिटल के ऊपर लोड कम होता है. नाउ हमने अपनी कंपनी का नाम फाइब्रोहील क्यों रखा? आप सब कुकून्स के बारे में जानते हैं, सिल्कवर्म स्टेज इनसाइड ए कुकून, और वो कुकून से थ्रेड्स या धागे या साड़ियां बनाए जाते हैं. आप लोगों को जानकर खुशी होगी, सिल्क प्रोटीन के अंदर दो कुकून्स पाए जाते हैं. वन इज कॉल्ड सेरिसिन एंड द अदर इज कॉल्ड फाइब्रोइन. Sericin has excellent cosmetic applications and fibroin is something which has good medical application. हम fibroin protein use करते हैं to heal various types of wounds. That's why company is called Fibro Heal. अब सबसे important aspect, हमने Fibro Heal क्यों start किया, आइडिया क्या था पीछे, या क्यों इंटेंशन क्या था? कोई भी जब आप काम करते हो उसका इंटेंट अच्छा होता है तो डेफिनेटली इट इज बाउंड टू सक्सीड, नथिंग कैन फेल इट. सो द पर्पस टू स्टार्ट द वेंचर was to solve a genuine problem of acute and chronic non-healing wounds with a potential of economic multiplier. जो भी genuine problem जो कई तरह के घाव का होता है, जैसे डायबिटिक अल्सर, बेड सोर, सिजेरियन या अदर तरह के घाव का, उन्हें भरना था विथ ए पोटेंशियल, जिससे कि कई लोग इन प्रोसेस, कईयों का भला हो सके और इकोनॉमिक मल्टीप्लाई अप कर सके कई लेवल पे. And that led us to Fibroheal. These are some of the awards where I will not spend much time. This is how the silk extraction process works. Normally क्या होता है, जब साड़ियां वगैरह बनती हैं तो आप उसे खौलते हुए पानी में डाल देते हैं और धागे निकल आते हैं, और फिर उसे आप रीलिंग, ट्विस्टिंग, ये सब करके आप साड़ियां बनाते हो, वीव करके, और फिर आप, हमारे केस में हम क्या करते हैं, हम सिल्क वर्म को अलाउ करते हैं इमर्ज होने के लिए. तो जब वो सिल्क वर्म जो होता है, जो प्यूपा होता है, वो आगे चल के मतलब वर्म जो होता है बटरफ्लाई में कन्वर्ट होता है और वो कुकून को तोड़ देता है, जिसे ब्रोकन कुकून कहा जाता है. और फिर वो नॉर्मल अपना लाइफ साइकिल का प्रोसेस फिनिश करते हैं, एग्स प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, डाइज एंड नेचुरल डेथ. जो ये खाली कुकून होता है, ये मेरा स्टार्टिंग मटेरियल होता है. टू पुट इट टू ए पर्सपेक्टिव, हम उतने ही वेजिटेरियन हैं जितना वेजिटेरियन आपका हनी या ये सब चीजें होती है. हम सिल्कवर्म को मारते नहीं है, हम मोथ को मारते नहीं है. जो उसका एम्प्टी शेल होता है वो हमारा स्टार्टिंग मटेरियल होता है. उसके कई सारे प्रोसेसेस से यूजिंग टेम्परेचर, प्रेशर, हम सिल्क फाइब्रोइन का सोल्यूशन बनाते हैं. ये रहा कंपनी का डिटेल्स. अगर आप देख पा रहे होंगे तो कुकून है, नीचे सॉर्टिंग हो रही है, नीचे टीम, और फिर ये प्रोडक्ट रेंज. एज ऑफ नाउ हम 4 सेगमेंट में ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं. पोस्ट ऑपरेटिव वुंड्स हुआ, जिसमें कि आपके सिजेरियन या सर्जरी के बाद जो घाव होते हैं उसके लिए है. एक्यूट और ट्रॉमा वुंड्स, मतलब जो एक्सीडेंटल केसेस होते हैं या जो छोटे बहुत चोट चपेट लगती है उसकी है. क्रोनिक वुंड और समथिंग लाइक डायबिटिक अल्सर, बेड सोर्स, प्रेशर अल्सर, उस तरह की चीजें. और स्कार मैनेजमेंट की, घाव ठीक होने के बाद जब स्कार रहता है उसके लिए. कमिंग टू सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज होती है जो ऑल आप लोग जो फ्यूचर एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हो, इज व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम एंड व्हाट इज द सॉल्यूशन. आप जो अपना स्टार्टअप या बिजनेस या आइडिया देखने जा रहे हो, उसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या एड्रेस करने जा रहे हो और क्यों वो प्रॉब्लम आपका सॉल्यूशन एड्रेस करेगा. तो हमने देखा कि कई पेशेंट्स में हीलिंग की डिफिकल्टी होती है. मेनी हैव स्लो हीलिंग और नो हीलिंग. इससे हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन कॉस्ट कई गुना ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है. और आपको भी पता है कि एक दिन का हॉस्पिटल स्टे का कॉस्ट कितना इकोनॉमिक लोड डालता है पेशेंट और उसकी फैमिली पे. और जब घाव भर रहा होता है उस टाइम में देयर इज डिक्रीज्ड क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ ड्यूरिंग ट्रीटमेंट, हीलिंग एंड पोस्ट हीलिंग. All this led us to ensuring that we are right if we operate in the area of wound management and address this wound management area. Now आया कौन सा मटेरियल. हमने सिल्क पे क्यों जीरो डाउन किया, क्योंकि सिल्क इज ए कंप्लीटली बायोकम्पेटिबल मटेरियल, नॉन एलर्जेनिक, नॉन साइटोटॉक्सिक. एयर इससे अच्छे से वो देख सकते हो, क्योंकि कई सारे जो स्टेट्स होते हैं, जो पर्टिकुलरली साउदर्न स्टेट जहां गर्मी ज्यादा है, वहां पे आप देखते हो लोग सिल्क के कपड़े ज्यादा प्रेफर करते हैं. इट इज एयर परमिएबल, टेंसाइल स्ट्रेंथ इसकी अच्छी है. बायोटेक के पर्सपेक्टिव से देखें तो इट एक्ट्स लाइक ए स्कैफोल्ड, जिससे टिश्यू रीजनरेशन और सेल प्रोलिफरेशन होता है. और कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव है, क्योंकि इंडिया इज सेकंड लार्जेस्ट प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ सिल्क इन द वर्ल्ड. इंडिया 35,000 टन से ज्यादा मेट्रिक टन सिल्क प्रोड्यूस करता है. ये कुछ प्रोडक्ट्स हैं जो ऑलरेडी मार्केट में आ चुके हैं, जो कि सिल्क प्रोटीन से बनाए गए हैं. ये जैसे मास मार्केट सिजेरियन के लिए और इन सब चीजों के लिए हुआ. और अगर आप देखिए इस तरह से क्लीनिंग सॉल्यूशंस हैं आपके, एंटी माइक्रोबियल स्कार, इन सब के लिए. नाउ जो अगला इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट आता है, जब भी आप कुछ बड़ा करते हो तो ये इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि आपके कोलैबोरेशंस अच्छे से रहें. और उस सिलसिले में अगर देखा जाए तो हमने काफी कोलैबोरेशंस किए हैं इंडस्ट्री से, एकेडमिया से, और वो सब चीजें काफी बड़े लेवल पे लोगों को हेल्प की हुई है. जैसे अगर देखा जाए, ये कुछ हमारे एकेडमिक कोलैबोरेशंस हैं जिसके साथ हम काफी क्लोजली काम कर रहे हैं. इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ साइंस, नेशनल केमिकल लेबोरेटरी, IIT बॉम्बे, स्टेम, मणिपाल, CSIR, बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसे ही कुछ इंडस्ट्रीज हैं जिनके साथ हमारे कोलैबोरेशंस हैं. और पैरेलली अगर देखें तो ये सारी चीजें काफी बड़े लेवल पे हेल्प करती हैं जब आप बड़े लेवल पे कुछ करना चाहते हो. तो ये कुछ पब्लिकेशंस हैं हमारे जो ऑलरेडी हमने मतलब पब्लिश किया हुआ है. दिस इंक्लूड्स सिल्क फाइब्रोइन से जब बर्न वुंड्स होते हैं उसे ट्रीट करने के लिए, एज वेल एज जो ब्लीडिंग होती है वो ब्लीडिंग रोकने के लिए कैसे हमारा सिल्क प्रोटीन बेस्ड मटेरियल जो होता है वो ब्लीडिंग को रोकता है. ये आप देख पा रहे होंगे कि अब कैसे प्रोडक्ट काम करता है, ये कुछ लाइव केसेज है जो हम लोगों ने किया। ये एक 70 साल की लेडी है जिनका घाव भाग नहीं रहा था, और अगर आप देखिए ये डीप वेन थ्रोम्बोसिस का केस है, डीप वेन अल्सर का, जिसमें आप देखिए कि कैसे घाव ठीक हुआ है। और नॉर्मली अगर आप देखोगे तो सिल्क प्रोटीन डिराइव्ड वुंड सॉल्यूशंस हील वुंड फास्टर, ऑलमोस्ट क्लोज टू 40% विद बेटर एफिशिएंसी। ये केस है, आप देख पा रहे हो डे 0 और डे 15 में। इट्स बाइक साइलेंसर का बर्न केस है जो आप देख सकते हो, डे 0, डे 3, डे 6। सिमिलरली डायबिटिक अल्सर का केस है जिसमें कि 2 उंगलियां पैर की काट दी गई थी, और 12वें दिन में आप देख पा रहे हो कितना डिफरेंस हुआ है। नाउ कमिंग टू सोसाइटल इम्पैक्ट, आप जो भी कर रहे हो उसका सोसाइटल इम्पैक्ट बड़े लेवल पे होना चाहिए। तो सेरिकल्चर और फार्मर और सिल्क इंडस्ट्री में देखा जाए तो क्लोज टू 35,000 टन सिल्क का प्रोडक्शन होता है इंडिया में, सेकंड लार्जेस्ट प्रोड्यूसर का। क्लोज टू 80 लाख लोग डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली सेरिकल्चर और उससे रिलेटेड इंडस्ट्री में डिपेंडेंट है। कई सारा सिल्क जो है वो वेस्ट हो जाता है, और अगर इसे आप सही से नए नए टेक्नोलॉजीज में लगाओ तो बहुत सारा फार्मर्स की अर्निंग इंप्रूव की जा सकती है, इकोनॉमीज ऑफ सिल्क प्रोडक्शन इंप्रूव किया जा सकता है, और नॉन टेक्सटाइल एप्लीकेशन किया जा सकता है। वुंड केयर के हिसाब से देखें तो अफोर्डेबल एंड कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव प्रोडक्ट फॉर पेशेंट्स, it brings down or lowers the hospitalization cost, reduces the load on the hospitals, and because of the faster healing, or it also reduces the time of doctor and nursing staff, and importantly, एक तो लोड भी पैसे का कम डाल रहा है, increases the quality and longevity of life during treatment and after treatment। ये हम लोगों का कुछ प्रपोज प्लांट था, ये इन द प्रोसेस आप जो जर्नी चलते हुए है, इस तरह से हमारे प्लांट्स बने। आज हमारी टीम यहाँ रेडी है जो प्लांट रेडी करके। तो ये जर्नी जो स्टार्टअप्स की होती है वो काफी मजेदार होती है, और जिसमें आप जब एक छोटे लेवल से शुरू करते हो, जो आप सीड लगाते हो, आपको पता नहीं चलेगा कब 100 लोग आपकी कंपनी में बढ़ जाएंगे। आज ये हमारी अभी लेटेस्ट फैक्ट्री है जहां से मैं आज से बात कर रहा हूँ। मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, अब आया बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट कि मेरे क्या लर्निंग्स रही हैं व्हाइल आई वाज बिल्डिंग फाइबर। सब लोग बोलते हैं सर फंडिंग नहीं है, सेल्स कैसे करूंगा, रेगुलेटरी अप्रूवल कहां से मिलेगा, बिजनेस डेवलपमेंट कैसे होगा, हमसे हमारा माल को क्यों खरीदेगा जब बड़े बड़े प्लेयर्स हैं। ये सारे क्वेश्चंस मेरे मन में भी आए थे, बट व्हाट आई रियलाइज द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम इज finding people who share the similar interest, finding people who have the commitment, who can put their ego aside, and who have openness to take challenge and building it up what it comes। मतलब वैसे लोगों को लेने का जो लोग पॉजिटिव सोचते हैं, ऑप्टिमिस्टिक रहते हैं और आगे कुछ करना चाहते हैं। दूसरा जो मेरी लर्निंग थी, आप जब स्टार्ट करते हो, ये रास्ता किसी ने वॉक नहीं किया, आपको अपना रास्ता स्वयं वॉक करना है। उस केस में यू विल टेक सम डिसीजंस व्हिच मे नॉट बी वेरी फ्रेंडली, कई बार वो डिसीजंस आपके बैकफायर करेंगे। सो यू हैव टू एक्सेप्ट इट एंड मूव ऑन। नेवर बिकम इमोशनल अबाउट योर डिसीजंस कि मैंने डिसीजन लिया वो गलत हो गया, कैसा ऐसा हो सकता है। अगर वो आप करोगे तो आपके लिए वो डेट्रीमेंटल होगा, आपके पीस के लिए, आपकी कंपनी के लिए, जो लोग आपके भरोसा करके आपके साथ काम कर रहे हैं उनके लिए। मेरी एक और जो मेरे अक्सर क्वेश्चन आते हैं कि सर आपको कैसे पता था कि सिल्क काम करेगा, कैसे पता था कि कंपनी बढ़ जाएगी, कैसे आप डाउट्स को हैंडल करते हैं, जो डाउट का सिनेरियो था उसे कैसे हैंडल। सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, जैसा आप सब जानते हो, द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज टू कीप काम एंड कीप रिविजिटिंग द पर्पस। इट गिव्स यू द डेमिनर टू सक्सीड एंड कीप फ्लाइंग। सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है काम रखिए एंड व्हाई यू स्टार्टेड। अगर आप देखिए, जब मैंने बताया था द पर्पस to start FibroHeal was to solve the problem of acute, chronic and other type of wounds while being economic multipliers। तो जब मेरा पर्पस क्लियर होता है, अदर थिंग्स बिकम्स क्लियर। सो जैसा आपने देखा कि हमारा जो पर्पस क्लियर था, सेम वे कीप काम, कीप इन्वेस्टिंग द पर्पस, आपको रास्ता मिलता रहेगा, दैट विल कीप यू फ्लाइंग। सेकंड, हार नहीं मानने का, नॉट गिविंग अप इज द की। कई बार जब आप एंटरप्रेन्योर बनते हो तो रोड कभी क्लियर नहीं होते। ये बिल्कुल ऐसा होता है कि आपको एक कैंडल के साथ जंगल में छोड़ दिया जाए तो क्या होगा, आपको एक ही कदम दिखेगा, आपको 5 कदम नहीं दिखेंगे कि आगे तालाब है, कि रास्ता है, कि आगे सांप बिच्छू है। व्हाट यू हैव टू डू इज यू हैव टू टेक दैट स्टेप। और कैंडल की लाइट हार्डली 1 मीटर तक जाती है, तो जब आप पहला कदम लोगे उसके बाद आपको दूसरा कदम दिखेगा। एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप भी बिल्कुल वैसे ही है, यू नो, व्हेन यू टेक वन स्टेप देन द नेक्स्ट स्टेप विल बिकम फ्री। एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, if you are focused and ready to hustle, अगर आप गिव अप नहीं करोगे, if you are focused, आपको सक्सेस से कोई नहीं रोक सकता। एक और क्वेश्चन अक्सर लोग हमसे पूछते हैं कि सर आप टीम कैसे बनाते हो, टीम क्यों ज्वाइन करेंगे हमारे साथ, फिर टीम में आएंगे पॉलिटिक्स होगा, यू नो, हाउ डू आई एड्रेस, यू नो, इफ देयर इज पॉलिटिक्स विद इन द टीम। इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट इज ह्यूमंस पे ध्यान दीजिए, हु आर गो गेटर प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर्स। बी ट्रांसपेरेंट, बी इंक्लूसिव। अगर किसी चीज में आपको गलती दिख रही है, बी ओपन एंड डिस्कस इट। और अगर कोई आदमी जेन्युइन एफर्ट लिया एंड ही फियर्स इज नॉट एबल टू अचीव, उसे पुश मत कीजिए। गिव देम चांस टू कम अप ऑन देयर ओन एंड स्पीक टू यू। सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट इज ट्रांसपेरेंसी इज द की। डू नॉट फॉरगेट, project deadlines, timelines is important, but we are dealing with people who have emotions. They are not just resources, they are people who are having real emotions. So treat them with respect, treat them transparently, and treat them with lot of what do we say, a lot of gratitude for what they are doing, and you will see that a lot of good things will start happening, and that's how teams are built. Or important part, आप सभी के लिए, you need to face challenges, yet be brave and prudent while maintaining a positive approach. मैं फिर से रिपीट करूंगा, you need to face challenges, yet be brave and prudent while maintaining a positive approach. इन सारी चीजों से क्या होगा कि आप सक्सेस के रास्ते पे काफी अच्छे से चलोगे, and you will be able to address many issues, because challenges is every day, everyone's like challenges often every day. But if you are prudent and brave, and if you are optimistic and positive, you will be able to address and face any challenge which comes on the way of entrepreneurship or building a group. नाउ क्वेश्चन आता है, सर अच्छे लीडर कैसे बने? तो इसलिए इंपॉर्टेंट, जैसा मैंने बताया था, कि आपको अपने पर्पज पे रिविजिट करते रहिए। अगेन मैं रिपीट कर रहा हूँ, कीप काम एंड कीप रिविजिटिंग द पर्पज, वो आपके लिए सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है। एंड विद दिस, थैंक यू वेरी मच। दिस इज द टीम व्हिच वी टुक रिसेंट फोटो। कहां से जब हमने स्टार्ट किया था और आज की डेट पे हम यहाँ। सो आई एम मोर कंफर्टेबल एंड ओपन नाउ टू टेक क्वेश्चंस, आंसर जो भी मेरी कैपेसिटी में, मैं इफ आई कैन एड्रेस, हेल्प और सॉर्ट एनी इशू, I will be more than happy to do that.
Okay, so we will open the chat box. So participants, you can drop down your queries or interact with the sir.
Sure.
Okay, sir.
गुड इवनिंग गगनदीप, आप अपना क्वेश्चन पूछ सकती हो। So Tamil Vani, you had asked that, sir, is any material other than cocoon used for fibro heal? At the moment, no. We use silver. We use some couple of other materials, which enhances the activity of, silk fibroil. So, but the base remains the cocoon or the silk fibroil. There are enough other biomaterials which has future, like chitosan and cellulose and other kind of things. But there are many of them, and that can be used. Thank you, Rishi. Gagandeep, sir, how idea of fibroid comes in your mind? See, you read various news and various new things every day. The idea is to keep your mind open, be open to various thoughts, and you will realize that there are many opportunities out there. There are enough people who had worked earlier and they had kind of mentioned that silk holds a lot of potential. But जो सबसे बड़ी बात होती है, all of us have something called as डर or fear inside us. That fear doesn't allow us to move to the next stage and doesn't allow us to start something on our own. Somehow we pass that phase, cross the fear knowingly and unknowingly, and this is what has led to fibrosis. So I hope I have addressed. Shreya Bharti, is there any specific variety of silk that you prefer? Most commonly हम लोग यूज करते हैं मलबरी का, but we also look at मूंगा, टसर and ईरी. So it is based on the content, based on the availability, multiple factors. But yes, ये सारी चीजें, मलबरी is most commonly available. टसर के केस में भी हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं, and definitely there holds a lot of potential. Thank you, Vinayak sir. Thank you, Uma. कोई भी क्वेश्चन है, you can ask, you can speak, you can put it in the chat box. किसी को कोई डाउट नहीं है। याद रखना एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का की सबसे जरूरी चीज होती है कि हाउ डू यू आस्क व्हाई, बिकॉज अनलेस यू आस्क क्वेश्चंस you will never be able to find genuine answers. So important aspect is ask questions. I'm surprised that किसी को कोई डाउट नहीं है.
हाँ जी सर।
Yes, please ask. Those who wants to contact, I have mentioned my link in the chat box. You can connect to me. ऋषि कुमार सर, आप किस चीज का प्रोडक्शन करते हैं? वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन ऋषि। हम बैंडेज बनाते हैं, हम पाउडर पार्टिकल और हर तरह के फॉर्मुलेशंस बनाते हैं। एंड हमारी स्टार्टिंग मेटल कुकून है, वी segregate various types of proteins from that, and using that protein we make various forms of bandage and wound solutions to heal different types of acute, chronic, traumatic and post-operative wounds. संजीव गुप्ता जी, यस, हमें फंडिंग मिली थी। इनिशियली हमने खुद सपोर्ट किया था, but later on we got some support from Karnataka government. We won various awards and recognition जिसके थ्रू काफी आए। इसके अलावा additionally I have raised funding from some venture capital funds as well, and the product today is used in more than 700 hospitals across the country. Now Monica, usually fibroid is bound by cerizine. Is there any alternative method other than keeping cocoons in salt solution? सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट होता है प्रेशर कुकर में आप बॉयल कर दो, सेरिसिन निकल जाएगा। To put it in a simple manner, still that method works well. What are the other usage of fibroid? मेडटेक में बहुत सारे एप्लीकेशंस हैं। इसके अलावा आइडिया के हिसाब से देखो तो आप फ्रूट्स वगैरह की डिपिंग के ऊपर भी काफी है। इट्स अ गुड फूड सोर्स, सो डेफिनेटली देयर इज लॉट ऑफ एप्लीकेशंस which still can address. How many time consume all other process of sericulture preparations? Usually to get silk cocoon, it takes about somewhere around 45-50 days. That's not a problem because cocoon is enough. Right now my consumption is pretty small compared to 35,000 metric ton प्रोड्यूस होता है और अभी तक मैं 350 metric ton भी यूज नहीं कर रहा हूँ. So material is not a problem. Then extraction process takes sometimes couple of weeks and then we move ahead on that. तो वो चैलेंज नहीं है. एक और चीज है कि आप सब जो एग्री रिलेटेड हो, ये तो सेरिकल्चर का रहा, which is a part of agri, बट एग्री में भी बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं. So how many of you are keen to take up entrepreneurship? That is what matters. Where will you get silkworm cocoons? You will get it all over the country. Almost 7-8 states you get it. Karnataka, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, UP, Odisha. You get tussar silk, hunted silk. Second, each fiber is a byproduct after silk. Please understand, cocoon जो होता है, basically how it does, worm brings something from his mouth. As soon as it comes in contact with air, it forms a thread. That is called fibroid. जो cocoon, Ramyasri, what is the cocoon is? That cocoon is, when they put in boiling water, thread comes out. Thread has both sericin and fibroid, and that is what they use to make saris. Fibroid is the inner protein which has beta stacks. So that is not the byproduct, but it's a part of, what do we say? It's a part of cocoon. And the threads, what is made of, is also made of fibroid. Or rather, the production of silk fibroid is extracting. So we extract it from the protein, from the cocoon itself. So it's a very, if I would suggest to do read or watch any YouTube video, you will get to know it. It's very interesting and fascinating to know it. Parishmita, how come the idea of using fibroid to make wound healing things comes to your mind? By reading papers, reading articles, reading stuff, you get to know. जितना ज्यादा आप सर्च करते हो नई नई चीजों के बारे में, न्यू मटेरियल्स, आपको आइडिया जाता है. इन नॉर्थ इंडिया इट्स प्रोडक्शन पॉसिबल. यस, नॉर्थ इंडिया में कुछ कुछ पार्ट में होता है, पर्टिकुलरली महाराजगंज, वाराणसी, छत्तीसगढ़ में काफी सारे एरिया में होता है जिसमें ऑलमोस्ट 250 मेट्रिक टन सिल्क का प्रोडक्शन होता है, पर्टिकुलरली नर्मदापुरम, होशंगाबाद के बेल्ट में. झारखंड में काफी सारा टसर सिल्क का होता है, कश्मीर में होता है काफी सारा टसर का. संजय गुप्ता, हाउ टू कोप अप विथ राइवल कंपनी प्रोडक्ट प्राइसेस एंड पॉपुलैरिटी? You have to work hard. Your product should deliver what you have claimed it. And of course, pricing and other things is based on the value, not based on the competitor. If you offer value at the right price point, definitely market will pick up. Was it easy to make people believe in the product or convince for the product in the market? Huma, it took us time. It took us a lot of cases to meet surgeons and show how the product works. The important part is showing is believing. आप दिखाओ कि एक घाव एक चोट लगा हुआ है जिसे अगर आप 10 days में भर के दिखा सकते हो, then people will believe you. So yes, it took us time. We took the product to the market, and usually from the time we sample, we are able to show results within 1 week. So that helped us, and that's how today we are here. Sir, which product your company makes? For any type of wounds, we have post-operative dressing, adhesive bandage, powder, particle, foam, spray, gel, you name it, we have all the formulations. Sir, how to become ready for taking risk of starting a business? Very good point, Gagandi. Looks like you are going to become a future entrepreneur. All you need is a mental framework where you are ready. Risk or nahi risk ki baat hai, life itself is a risk. We don't know what is going to happen to us tomorrow. So important part is think that I'm going to be successful. This is a genuine problem. Or this problem I have to find a solution. Do that and don't do it global level में क्या हो रहा है, अगर टर्की और इंडोनेशिया का फाइट हुआ तो क्या हुआ, ईरान और इजराइल का फाइट हुआ तो क्या हुआ. Don't get there. Think that how I can address, जो आप जिस विलेज में हो, जिस डिस्ट्रिक्ट में हो, जिस स्टेट में हो, जिस कंट्री में हो, उसी लेवल का सोच के आप आगे बढ़ो. As I mentioned that example, कि वो entrepreneurship or starting a business is like getting into a jungle with a candle. You will be able to see just the next step. और जब आप एक स्टेप लोगे तो अगला स्टेप क्लियर होगा, फिर अगला स्टेप लोगे तो अगला स्टेप क्लियर होगा. That's how it is, helpful, and that's how it will help you to scale. आपको प्रॉब्लम के सॉल्यूशन खुद ब खुद मिलते जाएंगे. All you have to do is keep calm, keep revisiting the purpose. So there is no special preparation you need. You can start it the way you are. हम सब बोलते हैं कि पैसा बहुत लगता है, बट जरूरी नहीं है हर चीज के लिए पैसा लगे, एंड हर प्रॉब्लम का सॉल्यूशन होता है. एंड वंस यू स्टार्ट डूइंग वेल, things will move on its own. People will come and they will support you. Thank you, Uma, for your kind words. Anyone else? Either type or you can ask directly.
Sir, share the PPT so I can circulate among the groups also with the participants.
Sure, I will send. I'm sending it to you on WhatsApp. Or I will send it across in a while, Badali. Once I know. I will send it. Any more questions? Any more doubts?
Participants, you still have time. You can interact with sir, and if you have queries, you can drop down there.
Many of you will have, definitely they will have doubts and questions.
So later they will be like drop down their queries in the groups also.
Yeah, more than it's important for you, more than the idea of self, it's important for that you look at the business, how you can build it. Sir, what is the step-by-step technical process for becoming an entrepreneur? Gitanjali, many a times there is no step-by-step technical process, because at the end of the day, you are going to a path which is not traveled by many. It's your path. If someone asks, Gitanjali, what is the step-by-step process to live your life? You only know what is the best process to live your life or how you have lived. Same way, important thing is, a few major things what I will tell you is, stay optimistic and positive. Believe that yes, it will happen. Solve a genuine problem. Look at something, where you will be able to help many people, both financially, employment-wise, technically, and able to support people, and keep your intent clean. If these 4 steps you are following, you are bound to succeed in under whatever circumstances you take it. My other story was covered, which I have already shared to Badvi, which will be more, interesting and exciting for each one of you, which I have shared Badvi anyway with you. Presentation also I will send it across.
Sir, there is a question from Jeep Gupta.
Yes. Sir, do you collect silk from farmer Alexia, or you have developed your own production unit for cocoons? No, we collect it. We have 3-4 sources. We have our own set of farmers whom we ask them to follow a best package of practice, and based on that, we buy back from them. Apart from that, you have enough silk available from various sources, including silk board and other areas. I said India is second largest producer of the silk, so silk getting silk cocoons or broken cocoons is not a problem. Is any quality parameters to select the cocoon? Yes, it should not be contaminated with heavy metals, and it should be, we know which farmer, what practice he or she is following. Based on that, we buy that because it is used for medical applications. So we try to keep it as tightly controlled as possible. Thanks, Prapti. Any future entrepreneurs having any questions in mind, thoughts, want to ask anything, feel free to. Do not forget, few years back, I was also one of the persons like you. Thinking होगा नहीं होगा नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा होगा तो क्या होगा. No more questions, or anyone is having any questions? Sir, is it worth to take risk with the money of parents to start an enterprise? Maybe token money you can take from them, like Ashirwad. But it makes no sense that if your parents have worked hard and they have got a retirement fund for their old age, it makes no sense for you to struggle, to make them struggle and utilize your money for startups. If your parents have retired and they have got a 50 lakh rupee fund, you can very well ask for 1 or 2 or up to 5 lakh rupees for them as a Ashirwad and or as a support. But it makes no sense, Gagandeep, to utilize your parents' money because at the end of the day, it's their hard work and it's for their life. So I would suggest you can take a token, whatever minor, but better, put your own money or try to win competitions and get it. Thank you, Sanjeev ji. Maybe how to build a team, I had already mentioned it. But again, important is to stay transparent, stay positive, get connected to people who think positive and want to solve genuine problems. These things will help you to come up and do well in life. Sir, for this particular area of your startup, what qualification is necessary for making such medical-based food care products? You need to get ISO 1348500 medical device. You need to have a facility which is clean. You have to have those epoxy flooring and air handling systems, and based on that, the Drug Control General of India will give you authorization that yes, this is where you can make it. Right? So that's how you build it. Once you start the journey, everything will become clear. It's exactly like as soon it starts becoming morning, once sun is about to rise, after that you won't find darkness anywhere. Same way. Once you take the path, problems will be there, but things will start becoming clear and you will be able to move forward on the path. All it depends on what is your intent, how do you want to address it, what problem you are solving, what solution, and what is the kind of people you are carrying together. That is what will help you to succeed. Any more questions? We are good. No more questions from anyone?
I think, sir, they are done with the queries. And if I got some queries in the groups, I'll share with you, sir, on the WhatsApp.
Surely.
So before concluding this session, I just want to say thank you, sir, on the behalf of everyone for delivering a such thought-provoking lecture and interacting with our participants.
Thank you, Madhavi. Take care. God bless you all. And if you need any help, feel free to get in touch. Thank you, Krishi.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Thanks, Just Agriculture. Thank you, Krishi.